Damn.
Yo, hand on your face. It's your boy Rapper 20647. We're here with another video. Jubilee. Team Boys anonymously answer 7 burning questions. Hopefully it's not too much, too much nonsense going on. But other than that, let's get into it. Come on now, Mask Off is a social experiment exploring authentic and anonymity. The views expressed in this video are opinions and expressions of cast members whose names have been changed for their privacy. Exactly. For a second, I thought all
In an
of their
age of
sticky notes or
culture wars, and perfect facades, people can be afraid to express how they really feel.
thought their sticky notes
So we
were
brought
like
together
Marvel.
7 strangers, protected their identities, and asked them all 7 burning audience questions. What will be revealed when we take the mask off?
Kyle, Liz, Brandon, Carl, Nathan, Will, Jared.
If the answer is yes, you will flip on your light.
1.
Do you watch porn?
Do you? And if so, what kind? And how addictive are you to it? Are you just looking up images? Part 304? You going on websites? Are you paying for it? If you are, you're weird. In a way. Because that's just wrong. What? That's weird. It's like what they say, it's free. You find it everywhere. It's literally everywhere. It's not like back then where it's magazines and tapes. It's everywhere. And they do it for the money and just to flaunt. It's weird. It's weird. It's weirder that you bought it. But it's, it's what you do. It's what you do.
It's accessible, and because it's accessible and it's there, people use it. I'm one of them.
I think most guys can agree that they have at least at some point watched it. And it's if you can enjoy it in a healthy way, if you can enjoy masturbating in a healthy way, I think then by all means go for it. But
yeah, I do watch porn. God. A lot of my teenage years, I spent a lot of time self-obsessing over it to the point where it kind of became an addiction. And it took until very recently to get out of the hole of, paying for porn. I do watch.
Oh my. I mean, yeah, like you said, healthy ways. But paying for it, that's just a whole nother level of no, that's just weird. And if you're watching it on like a daily basis, that's wrong. You need help. Especially when you're watching it multiple times a day. Morning, afternoon, 2 times. Instead of a snack, you're doing it snacking wise, dinner, and at midnight, you're going crazy. And then you just keep going downhill. The categories are just different every time you go down. It's just weird. It just went from normal to you over there on the torture side of stuff. And it's you gotta back up, man. You gotta back up.
Watch it, but I don't like that I watch it.
I'm gonna bring everyone else into the conversation.
I said no. I used to watch it a lot before. I would say I was addicted to it. My dad is in prison, so there was no one really for me to talk to about sex. So porn was my education on sex.
From personal experience, it messed me up because after watching it so much, I'm sure we've all been there where you're on page 5 and nothing is right. You're looking for that right video, but your dopamine receptors and everything is so messed up at this point that the same thing that would get you off wouldn't get you off anymore, right? I went so deep into it where I'm a straight man, I started watching trans porn because it was just erotic in a different way that I've never seen before. I needed more stimulation.
Because of pornography.
Yes,
Just finding
because of
new things,
pornography.
just
So I don't
finding new
think it's
things.
just entertainment. It actually affects with your brain and the way you perceive love.
Do you think that a lot of teenagers or teen boys are really educated on the effects of pornography?
No.
Not at all.
Have you ever cried in front of someone else?
I would assume they mean someone that isn't a family member. Me personally, no.
I wholeheartedly agree with the statement. I feel like it's easier to open up towards women, which is kind of embarrassing, but like, just quite frankly, I feel like they understand emotions more because they really understand the whole crying. I mean, I feel like crying is sort of normal to them, and they see of it as like a way to express themselves.
It's interesting that you said that you're more comfortable to cry in front of women. I had a girlfriend and she broke up with me over text. And before that, we were like talking and I cried in front of her and I was being honest and I thought that's what you're supposed to do. That's what my dad taught me, right? But I guess she interpreted it as being insecure and she broke up with me and that really messed me up for a little while because it's like, well, now I know I can't show any kind of insecurity. So I don't like crying in front of women. Like I'd rather cry in front of some family that I trust, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah, I feel on that. I feel like, of course, you're young. It's gonna be harder to like take those emotions in, let alone someone crying in front of you or on the phone. I feel, that's literally sometimes something that you might have to do once you're married or in a deep relationship with someone. Of course, you might have think that was going to be something you and your ex, as you said, was going to be something you're going to be doing for, hanging out, dating, eventually getting married, maybe. If you don't, you go to the same colleges, if you are going to the same college and stuff like that. But you thought that was going to be something you're going to be doing. Thought that was going to be something normal. You could just cry in front of someone. But I hope you overcome that and, work on it. You know what I'm saying? Be open and, continue to ask questions and be curious and wander around, not aimlessly, but, wander in a direction that's going to give you those answers.
Because I'd rather find a stranger on the street and tell them everything I'm going through because I will never see them again in my life. And I feel like they won't be able to judge me.
No
I'll
strings
never
attached.
see them.
I'd rather have a stranger think I'm strong and my family know all my problems, so it's interesting.
Feminism has gone too far.
It has. My goodness. We're on that. Forget men. I'd rather go make a baby from the hospital and raise that kid than to have another human being, a male, a husband, raise that kid with me. What is wrong with you? You can't do that. You're damaging that kid. It's missing that piece. You're missing a piece. Regardless if that dad or mother is raising, it's one thing to be like, you have both parents in the house. It's another thing when you just have, both parents, they're divorced, but, you see both your mom and dad. It's another thing when one of them is in jail or dead. You don't see him for an extended period of time. It's one thing when you were, it's one thing for them to be divorced before you were born to you being raised with them and they divorced and you were like under the age of 10. And it's like, yo, that hurts. It hurts to see it. Of course, it hurts if you have siblings, younger siblings or older siblings, and then their relationship with their parents start to change. The way things they approach is different. They used to be outgoing when they're with their parents, and now that they're different. Of course, your parents sometimes would tell stories about one another, like, oh, back then they were this and that, and that's why I hated them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes there were good parts about them, but you hardly hear the good stories because sometimes something random happened and their parents are telling you the bad things about that partner.
in the feminism movement, there's so much of tearing down men or trying to put men back in their spot. But if the women want us men to step up, then I feel like it'd be a lot more productive instead of tearing down men and telling us all what we're doing wrong, than to, on the other hand, to build us up. I guess for the sake of keeping us accountable for our actions, and as men, we also need to step up.
Giving females more opportunities to certain things, I just think that's quite unfair. And it's like, you gotta put in the work, you gotta put in the certain things to earn these things. And it's not like women are granted less access to these jobs. I mean, I know there's plenty of women who are in business, who are doing good things for America. I just find it counterintuitive that this whole feminist movement is advocating for equal rights in certain things when they already have access to them.
I'm a feminist. I guess I believe in the equality of men and women. I think that when we talk about feminism, a lot of it boils down to employment. I think that the bringing down of men, you guys keep on saying bringing down men and shaming them, I think that is way overstated. I have never been shamed for my maleness.
I think, you know, if you look at any movement, there's definitely going to be like a
I kind of hear you on that. I hear you on that. You know, you probably haven't experienced a whole bunch of stuff. It's kind of like what the cell saying, racism and stuff like that. You know, not everyone has experienced it. Does it exist? Yes. Same thing for slavery. It exists. Have you experienced it? No. But at one point, it did exist. Some countries, they still do it, just in a different form of it. Self-labor, you know, the selling of the body, you know what I'm saying? While you haven't dealt with, you know, being put down by other women in front of you, you never know what happens behind the scenes. And once again, that's something out of your control. You can't help what they say about you. You can do everything great in this world, up to your stance, you know what I'm saying? But someone's always gonna hate. They're always gonna be ready to hate. Born ready hater, you know what I'm saying?
a radical portion of that movement. But at the same time, like I want to open up the question to you guys. Do any of you guys have personal experience where you feel you've been brought down, you know, like to bring a woman up?
A little bit like in high school. And it's not like the worst thing in the world. We have like an ASB, my sophomore year, there was like happy thoughts, right? Like every Friday you just write something, you put it in the bin. It'll just be the girls and then some, more of the feminine guys complimenting each other, which is not a problem, but as they're complimenting each other, oh, look at you, you're killing it, and then they'll even like insult me. It went from being happy thought to build up women day. You know what I mean?
I feel like there's a wall and we should break down that wall and focus on the human race.
Yeah.
Not women, not men, not Mexicans, not this. We should all bring each other up.
I've been anxious about my penis size.
You make it work.
I started watching pornography, I think around the age of 11 or 12, and that's a very impressionable, vulnerable place to be in. So of course, there's always these feelings about looking at your body.
Yeah, and I think the competition is probably what affects me the most part. It's the thing you're like, I know good and well there's dudes bigger than me, and she says it doesn't matter, but it still plays on my mental when I go to sleep at night.
Currently, I'm not really afraid of the size that I have because I am kind of becoming more confident in my body and the way that I am. I don't really feel like it's going to matter nearly as much when you're with someone for 10 years as you are for a one-night stand. So I am not personally that uncomfortable with my size.
Everything that you just said is true, and you just need to become confident in your own self by knowing what people really look for. But it's hard to get on Netflix and watch Euphoria and think these are grown-ass men playing high school people, and you think well, that's not what I look like. And then you think about every person that I have been with or will be with has probably seen this.
Goodness.
I think that's really where that anxiety comes from.
They really can make them high college
Other
students.
people probably have expectations.
I have questioned my sexuality.
Not at all. No. Regardless if you, as one person said, they watched transgender prawn. Man, if you stand by, you stand by it. If you have questions, you go ask your parents. No, not at all. No. Mm-mm.
I guess growing up, I was never one of the jocks of school. I always was into music, I was always into theater, and so growing up, you know, I was always bullied because of that, because I was being too gay or whatever, and I always hung out with the girls. And so I definitely did kind of buy into what everyone else was saying, the peer pressure of like saying, oh, you're gay, this is how you're gonna end up turning out because this is how you are now. With where I am now in my life, I've just kind of gotten to a place where I've grown to be confident. I know what my identity is.
People thinking that,
Good to hear, good to hear.
like, it gets you thinking, you know? It gets you thinking like, well, like, am I? Or should I be? You know, it's like, should I be attracted to dudes because I like things that are quote unquote gay? You know, but then I guess it just reveals the issue that like, we've made certain things gay and made certain things straight.
Yeah, right.
Mine didn't stem from any kind of like extra like curricular activity. My stuff stemmed from porn, as I mentioned before. And when I started watching trans porn, and it's weird to say, but like I got really nervous. I got really nervous because I thought maybe I'd be gay. And so, you know, I did my research on it, and I was kind of obsessed with trying to figure out like what this could mean. And all the stuff I looked up.
You were down a rabbit hole. You were down a rabbit hole. You were addicted, and you were just trying to find stuff to boost it up. You just trying to get back on the grind of the wrong stuff with the wrong stuff.
Like if you watch trans porn, you're still straight because they're women and stuff like that. But I'm thinking like, what would my family think? I've never sought out, and like every time I talk to a trans woman in real life, there's no like actual attraction there. So I'm still lost in the fact of what I actually am attracted to. But I guess I am still straight because they are women.
Quite frankly, right now I feel happy with my sexuality. And I feel that it's not wrong to question your sexuality in terms of law in America. Like, you're free to question whatever you want. You can question your religion, you can question your culture. It's just society is the things that constrains those certain things to be what's normal and what's wrong.
I feel like there's such a strong stigma to be straight, you know, like, or strong like a pushing you into it, that even right now I feel the desire to like explain myself, even though we're anonymous right now. I feel like I've only been with like actual like cis women, but like I know this, like no one is judging you. We're all here to be honest. But it's such a stigma that from the last 18 years of my life, that in this moment right now I feel embarrassed and ashamed for something that's just the way it is,
I'm scared of dying.
In what way? I mean, the thought of it. When you think about it too much, of course it happens. Scared of it, in a way, yeah. Am I afraid of where I'm going if I die? Not really. Not to an extent of where I gotta shut in myself. Scared of it, yeah, because you just, anything could practically kill you. You can die in your sleep. But no, how I want to die, or how I'm gonna die anyway, it's there, but not too much to take over.
I think of it as like, I'm extremely scared of death. I mean, I watched my father die like right before me. It's a scary thing. They just stop breathing. And just the idea of like nothing is just extremely terrifying to me. It's like you don't really know what's going on. Like, are you even thinking? Are you even there? You're just a blip out of just space.
It is terrifying. We don't know. And as a Christian, I want to pretend that like I know that there's heaven and hell, but at the end of the day, I genuinely don't know.
Yeah, I think I always had the fear as a kid growing up that I'm gonna die and like not fulfill like what I wanted to do here on Earth, right? But every time I thought about dying, it was as an old person. But 2 years ago, when I started working as a lifeguard, this lady and her friend came to the pool, and I have the music going and everything. She just starts having a seizure, and luckily, I did everything right, and EMS showed up, and she was safe. But then 2 weeks later, she unfortunately had another seizure while driving, and she died. And that's when I realized life is like, it can happen to anyone at any point, and if I just die and don't do anything with my life, then that's what I'm scared of.
I said that I don't fear death because unlike you guys, I don't really have an experience, so much hands-on experience with death.
Am I afraid of the fact that I will die someday? No. But I think you know, obviously the fact that it might come way sooner than you expect is a scary thought. But like, it's the one thing that makes life like special. You know what I mean? It's the one thing I feel like that actually gives meaning to it. Because if you would never die, then you would never do anything. You know, because you would always have more time to do it.
You get one life, one body. Make the right choices where you can live the longest, but at the same time achieve the most. You don't want to get caught up in too much stuff where it's gonna delay all the things you can accomplish. You go to jail for doing certain things, it's gonna be hard for you to get a job. You ever go out there and get a build a family, there's gonna be certain restrictions with the child. You can do everything you want to do without the child, but once you get the child, it's a blessing and a curse. You know, it is what it is. You know, you can still do the same things with your child because you want to pass on the things that you did as a kid. You know, the things you listen to, the things you watch, the things you learn as an adult growing up. It's still down to your kid, but it's gonna cost more to raise a kid, especially in certain areas. You know, it's just life. And dying is, you know, like final resting period of your whole, you know, it's like what you did at the end of your life. What did you do? What did you achieve? Whose life did you impact the most? Who'd you help? Did you help yourself? Are you satisfied with your life? Simple things, complicated, complex things at the same time.
Do you guys feel like you can actually be your genuine self when you're like talking to a girl or hanging out with a girl?
There's definitely a difference between like talking or opening up to like my friends that are girls versus like a girl that I'm interested in.
Like obviously if you're trying to impress a girl, you're gonna be dressed nicely, you're gonna wear some cologne, you're not gonna like fart around her, right? It's like it's a filter thing. But like when it comes to your mom, like your mom's a girl and I wholeheartedly trust my mom. So I'm gonna be myself around the people I trust more.
I guess that's what it is. There's a lot of times I walk away with talking to a girl I'm really interested in. I'm like, man, I didn't just go up and be me. And then my best friend, right? He used to be my best friend. He's kind of a womanizer, but I see him get so much like, you know, success. And every time I've gotten success is doing things that he's done, which is just putting on a facade, telling them what they want to hear.
I think it's good to be yourself because
Idolizing someone else instead of being yourself. I hope he learns. I hope he does, like, be his genuine self, you know, wherever his genuine self means. Talking to people, you know, I guess this whole 19 thing definitely has been a blessing, a curse, and a lot of things have done amazing from it. But of course, your social skills is going to take an effect, especially if you taking classes online. It's definitely going to affect your social skills, especially meeting new people, communicating with new people, and sometimes even with current people too. It's gonna affect you just a little bit.
Because, I mean, you can only
if you
put a
had
mask
struggles already.
so long. It's refreshing to talk to people and realize that I'm not the only one who feels a certain way about things. It's nice, and it's a step in the right direction for me in becoming more comfortable with being open and honest with everybody.
I think just the whole open conversation, like this won't bite me in the end later, or like someone's not gonna listen to this and think, oh, that guy's bad. I have more safety of expressing my honest opinions, and whether those be good opinions or bad opinions, it's a better way to express one's true self without trying to be influenced by what high school is and all the people influencing you in high school, because frankly, high school is just popular culture, what people think is popular.
Thank you so much.
That was Team Boys. 7 burning questions. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like and share and stuff like that. It's your boy Rapper 20647. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Stay confident.